Hello, everyone. Ramble time again. I just wanted to talk about the recent YouTube ad nightmare of advertisers pulling their revenue off of YouTube and boycotting it, and also YouTube's response in that, which was to demonetize controversial content en masse with a very broad, sweeping brush that has even taken away monetization for people speaking against hate speech because the tags and titles will look the same as far as their filters go. So, a lot of the YouTubers that I like to watch, the more controversial YouTubers, they will get demonetized and they will lose a lot of the revenue that maybe that they're there for, right? But I actually feel like this is a correction that is a long time coming. We needed this, and hear me out here. This is my opinion is that this is a good thing for the platform, for the way that I enjoy it. If there's a YouTuber who is pandering to a certain audience, and only keeping their content in this one narrow frame of view in order to amass subscribers and getting a lot of money, and then they find themselves demonetized. They're not going to want to make that content anymore because they're not getting that monetary incentive. And I'm just going to say it flatly. If money was what was keeping them making those videos, there are plenty of YouTubers who have careers outside of YouTube that will fill the gap, who do this shit just for the love of it, right? I'm just going to use myself as an example here. At one point, YouTube was about 10% of my income, right? But right now, I'd have to say that it is more like less than 1% of my income. Less than 1. And it's because I have a career outside of YouTube that actually fuels me as far as my living situation and also food on the table and the cameras that I buy and all that. I use my actual job for this, my hobby. And there are plenty of YouTubers who will step up and fill the gap. And even if you think that a monetized YouTuber who does this as a career can put out content daily, well, there's 4 YouTubers who could do the same work as them that are just doing it as hobbies, who can put out the same type of content, okay? And they'll do it for the love of it, not for the money of it, and you're going to get a different type of experience. You're going to get less shill, you're going to get less rate, comment, subscribe, and buy from my Etsy store, and buy from, all the links down below, and use my audible.com slash bozo bananas. You're going to get a lot less of that and more just the meat and substance of what the video artist is trying to present. And so I feel this is a good thing. I know that many of you might be thinking of me right now as being like happy to watch the world burn, but no, I have other reasons for this. And I'm going to draw a parallel here, okay? 4 years ago, 5 years ago, I had an antiques market, and I needed to advertise for this market, and I tried all sorts of different ways to do it. One of the worst ways that I did was trying to use Facebook to buy ads to be put into people's feeds, and I even drew a local market circle, where these ads would only show up in Colorado, where I live and my business was. I tried everything to target the demographic, like only people who like certain things like arts and crafts and stuff. And I even targeted by age range even. And I did everything to try to maximize the ad potential of my ads on Facebook, and 0 people walked in the door of my store because of the ads on Facebook. Similarly, I spent in one ad campaign for a local channel in the city that I was at. I spent $2,400 to get some ads that would appear during the local news. That's what I wanted because that was the right demographic of people that I wanted coming into my store. And also, you could buy ads on different cable channels to actually appear during certain shows, and I picked things like Storage Wars, Pickers shows, all sorts of shows that the right demographic would be watching. 0 people walked through my door for television advertising. 0. And it's not that the ads were bad. It's not that we weren't putting something out that they wouldn't want to see. It's just that nobody watches those advertising spots. You know, people will put things on their DVR and fast forward through ads. People have ad blockers on TV if they're watching news streaming. Nobody who is savvy is watching your ads, right? And so the impact of the ads was so negligible that when I would ask every single person who walked through the door of my store, what brought you here? Well, they were saying things like Google Maps. That was like half of it, Google Maps. And listings for individual things on Craigslist was, I'd say, 40%, right? So all the rest that I was spending was useless. Useless. And when an advertiser learns that their products are showing up in the wrong demographics, like just forget that the sensationalized reason is, oh, we found that our ads are right next to ISIS beheading videos, right? Forget that fact. Just the fact that their ads are showing up on controversial content that isn't targeting the viewers that might actually buy their products. That is the problem, okay? And, you know, fake ad views. There's all sorts of stories about how, millions of dollars are being sucked away by bots. That every time they try to fix the system and make sure that fake views aren't generating revenue, that it's going a certain way, the pirates, they find different ways to siphon off the ad money, right? And my view on this is, now that there's this little controversy, this little news thing that's sparked up, every advertiser that was not getting their money's worth is going to use this as the scapegoat reason as to why they're pulling their money out of that industry, out of that advertising realm. They're going to pull their money out of YouTube, but I'm just going to say this as a basic feature of economics. If the ads were working in the first place, they would never pull their ads. If those ads were getting people to buy products, if those ads were getting people to walk through the door of their stores, they would not be pulling their ads. But prior to this little controversy, if they were pulling advertising from certain places, it would be seen as hemorrhaging, as blood in the water, and the sharks would attack. They'd lose stock price because the stockholders would be like, "Hey, why are they pulling advertising? Are they suffering? Are they in dire straits? What's going on?" But now there's this moral reason that they can hide behind and say, "Well, we didn't like that our ads were being placed next to hate speech." No. If the ads were working, even if they were next to hate speech, they'd be like, "Oh, well, we have no control over where YouTube puts it, so that's not our fault, so blame YouTube." That's what they would do if the ads were working, okay? The ads were not generating revenue for them. That's why they're pulling their money now. And this correction needed to happen. It fucking needed to happen because, and as someone who has been an entrepreneur for different periods in my life, I want businesses to get bang for their buck. Okay? And if they're advertising and they're not getting a return on that advertising, I don't want their money. Like, yeah, there's a sucker born every day, and you know, I'm not going to dog anyone for making money off of those suckers, right? But I want most of those businesses that have pulled their money out of different places. I want nothing but best for them, you know. And if they're not getting the bang for their buck, I want them to invest in a place where they are getting that bang, right? So, as far as the rest of this ad nightmare, we've built up these YouTubers, these people who now call YouTube their career, with a risky career choice in a way, but they now feel like they're entitled to have this as a job. They feel like, you know, if you guys don't support us now, you know, if YouTube doesn't go back to the way it was, these channels are going to die. Well, they were an artificial life form anyway. You know, the market will speak, and if their kind of content was not such that you could live off of it as a career, then so be it. All right? Perhaps we'll get more genuine content from people who are just doing this not to create sensationalism and not to get more people to subscribe to them, just doing it for the love of it, you know? And I feel like you could probably see this in my channel over the course of the last few years, where sometimes I just don't give a fuck about whether or not I'm going to get or lose subscribers for the content that I'm putting out. I'm doing it for me, you know? And those people that have stuck with me probably get me, you know, and they probably enjoy that I'm doing this. In order to understand the actual pinch that these YouTubers are feeling, some of them have such a channel and they're so invested in it, they're not going to give you the actual numbers because they feel that they're not allowed to give you this look behind the scenes at how much money they're making. Some of them, because they're making so much more than just minimum wage, that even having that halved is, you know, thousands of dollars a month that anyone else could easily make videos full time on, and you'd be looking at them and be like, oh wow, you went from $10,000 to $5,000 a month. Fuck you, you know. I don't care so much that you, who could live, you know, sustainably still, are hurting. But they're not going to give you the actual numbers. But I'm going to cut this short by actually giving you some actual numbers. Right? You have to understand that cost per mil, CPM, is how much money you make per 1,000 views. Right? And having been a part of 4 different MCNs, 4 multi-channel networks that had different CPM payouts, I can tell you that CPM has been declining over the years, and I feel like it's because that bubble of advertisers thinking that they were going to get return has burst, and they're actually looking at the real returns, the real bang for their buck. But recently, my CPM did get kind of cut in half, and I'm going to show you some actual numbers here. Now, I just posted a video about a pro-Trump march being disrupted by black bloc protesters, and I have some numbers from that. And this video came after YouTube's changes, okay? So I'm going to show you this, right? So here's some real numbers. These other YouTubers, they won't show this because they'll be afraid their channel's shut down for showing you the nuts and bolts. But I'm not afraid. Fuck it. So my revenue is down for the month, even though I have this giant spike from this recent almost viral video, right? And so this video is Black Bloc Disrupt Pro-Trump March in Denver, right? And the analytics for about 7,000 views on that have come in, right? Right there. And I'm getting about $6.82. That is less than $1 per 1,000 views, right? That's a CPM of less than 1. And when I was choosing which MCN I would go with back in the day, I was hearing things like, if you were to join Machinima and be a video game star here on YouTube, you could get like a 3 or 4 CPM, right? And that's probably because Machinima is working with video game developers, and they're targeting the demographic there. And Machinima was kind of choosy in who they let in. They wanted video game YouTubers, from that genre. They didn't want anyone else because they were trying to target the ads for who they were selling the ads to. And, so at certain times with like RPM and Maker, I was making about a 1.8 CPM when I was being promised up to a 3, right? So 1.8 was to me it felt a little bit respectable, but I moved to YouTube monetization basically to cut out the middleman because I wasn't getting anything for the money that I was giving to my MCNs. But now I'm thinking, if you are a certain type of YouTuber with a certain type of content that's controversial, maybe a new MCN like Maker XXX should pop up and take money from porn, and put porn ads out. I'm not somebody who's going to moralize about this. Maybe they should take risque content and pair it with risque ads. Maybe they should take controversial content and compare it with, pair it up with controversial ads and just have a company on the side with that, so that when these companies find that there's controversial people on YouTube making money, and so we're outraged about it, they can say, well, no, that's Maker XXX, blame them. That's why this so-called hate speech is making money. And this is all just a correction that needed to happen. This needed to happen, and I'm actually happy going forward.